Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Joe Oundo, or as I'm known on social media handles as Babu Joe. And welcome to my channel. You can go to YouTube and look for Joe Oundo. Please, while you're there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share as much as you want. And welcome to today's podcast. I'm going to be talking about a continuation of the subject that we discussed last time. Last time we discussed about investing in yourself academically. So today I'm going to be talking about investing in yourself economically, because it's not enough to have all of the papers. You can have multiple degrees. Thank you very much. Multiple PhDs, multiple master's degrees. But at the end of the day, we all have bills to pay, and we have a life to live. So, how do we convert those papers into money? Because, as I said, at the end of the day, the government also wants its share of the flesh in terms of taxation. Now, I'm going to take us back to the year 2005. It's early December, November. I had applied for a loan of 120,000 shillings in the cooperative. As you know, I'm a big believer in cooperative movement, and one of the most affordable and secure ways of saving and building our funds. So I got the loan of 120,000 shillings, and we had planned to travel to Kisumu, where we are going to build a perimeter wall in the rental house that we had built in Kisumu. Come Sunday, first week of December, before we traveled, we had gone to church, and one of my friends there in church invited us to his house in a neighborhood here in Nairobi, which, for the sake of anonymity, I will not mention. So my wife and I and our children drove to this person's place. He had his car and we had ours. We reached his house. He had built a beautiful three-roomed mabati structure, temporary mabati structure, but it was good. And we were welcomed. We had a fantastic lunch. Then after the lunch, him and I, we were sitting outside, just chatting and having a good time, while the women were also on the other side, and the children were also, chatting with each other. And then he started showing me. He told me that he had bought that property for 110,000 shillings, and he showed me other properties that his relatives had bought in the same neighborhood. He also showed me a few vacant plots. And at this point, he told me that it was going for 110,000 shillings. I said, wow. We quickly had a side chat, my wife and I, and we said, this is a good deal. So I asked him, can we get this? And he said, yeah. Tomorrow, Monday, I can take you to the person who is selling these properties. That was, I'm again reminding you, it was 2005 December. And today is the 23rd of February 2025. That is 20 years later. I am still waiting for this person to tell me, to the person who was selling this land. 20 years later, I'm still waiting. Now, at that time, we were living on Menelik Road off Ngong Road, a very good neighborhood. It was an expensive place, but very good address to live in Nairobi. And so when we came back to the house, my wife and I said, what was in this person's mind? Was it to show us that we are wasting money, we are spendthrifts, paying so much rent in somebody's house, while he got a golden handshake where he was working, and he has invested it in building a temporary structure there, and he was in the process of building a permanent mansionette there. So we postponed going to Kisumu. Remember, he was taking us on Monday, and I kept on reminding him on and on and on, and time was going. Fortunately, we did not spend this money. Then on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day, after we came from church, we had lunch. Then my wife and I, we said, I think this person has taught us a lesson. We are going to leave the house now. We are going to drive out, and we will not come back to this house unless we get a plot of land. Now, Nairobi has got, I think, 8 exits. If I count from Gong Road, Langata Road, Mombasa Road, Dagoretti Road, James Gishuru Highway, Lower Langata Road, Lower Kabete, Thika Road. Those are already 7. Mombasa Road and others. But we chose Mombasa Road. Why? I don't know. But we drove along Mombasa Road all the way down to near Tafform, a mattress factory. And we saw a board, plots for sale. And we diverted that, we took a left, and we started asking, where is this plots for sale? We came to a Masai Manyata, and they told us, well, no, we don't know, maybe go up the hill. So we drove up the hill, there were no roads, we were driving in the thicket, and we came up the hill, and we met some young men, and they told us, yes, there are plots for sale here. They showed us several. We liked one, and they had the contacts of the owner. The owner was working at the Kenya Medical Training College in Nairobi. We called that lady, we negotiated, and she accepted 180,000 shillings. Now, and I was ready to pay. But my wife said, I don't like this place. Why? She said, there's no phone reception. And it's in a valley. So if it rains, our house is going to be flooded. I value, and I've always valued my wife's opinion. I said, so what do we do? She said, let's look for another place. And as we were walking again off that place, we met this young Meru man, very noisy, very garrulous. And he said, oh, munatafuta plot iko. In the whole of that neighborhood, there were less than 10 residences at that time. It was just bush and thickets. So he took us to this other plot. It was a corner plot, and he called the owner. The owner said, yes, I'm selling that plot for 250,000. Now, no, 240,000. In my pocket, I have 120,000. So I am short by 120,000, meaning that I only have 50% of the sale value of the property. At that point, you can give up. So lesson number 1, do you give up? Do you say, well, it's being sold for 240,000, I have only 120,000, or it's being sold for 10 million, and I only have 5 million? What do you do? It's easy to give up. I did not. Quickly, I thought about my immediate follower, my brother, late Noah, his soul repose in peace. I called him, and I told him, we've got a property here. It's a very good place. I didn't tell him that it was in the bush with just thickets and animals roaming the place. And so he asked me, how much is it? I say, it's 240,000 less the commission, which was 10,000. So bringing it to 250,000 and the conveyance fees. She said, okay, what do you want? I said, can we join together and buy this property? He said, okay, fine. Give me your bank details. So I gave him my bank details. And the next day in the morning, he made the financial transfer to my bank account. So now I have 255,000 shillings. Then I met this person at the lawyer's office in Nairobi, where he drew up the sale agreement, and I paid 240,000. He said he wanted 20,000 shillings in cash. So I drew up a check of 220,000, and I gave him 20,000 shillings in cash in the presence of the lawyer. And these young men who facilitated us, they didn't ask me for a single coin, but I gave them 10,000 shillings. So that's 250,000. Out of the 255,000, I have 5,000 shillings remaining. And that's the first week of January now. We come and we view this property, and we start building castles in the air and start imagining the kind of house we're going to have there. Then one day we're there. So let me take you back a little bit. There was a master mason in our church. I talked to him. I brought him here, and he gave me a quotation. The quotation that he gave me was ridiculous. And he had a provision. He said, I want all the materials on site before I start doing anything. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 5,000 shillings in my, not just in my pocket, but in my life. I don't have any other money. So definitely that was off. And one day, one weekend, we came to that property. Then some man just walks there. He was called Masibo. And he greeted us. He said, are you the owner of this land? I said, yes. I said, I am a builder. I can show you how to do this. And reluctantly, I said, okay. So he measured out where the house should be. And he told me, avoid the Luo style of building where you put the building in the middle of the compound. Number one. Number two, don't build a grandiose building which will be empty in the next 10 to 15 years after the children have left the home. I said, okay. So he said, at this point, he was just trying to measure out how the building would be. And he laid out the strings. We borrowed strings from a neighbor. And once he did that, some young men just appeared from nowhere. And they said, well, we can dig this foundation. I said, I don't have any money. This man, Masibo, asked me for 2,000 shillings, which I gave him. So from the 5,000, I have 3,000 remaining. These young men didn't give me a choice. They just came with pickaxes and shovels and spades and everything, and they started digging the foundation. And they did. I paid them another 2,000. So I have 1,000 shillings left. That was January of 2006. And I don't know if you can see this. This was the first quotation that I had from these two fellows on how the materials that I needed. And in January 2006, I started buying 2x2s and poles, and started putting these receipts together. Now, how did I even start putting these receipts together, which I still have 20 years down the line? Well, I have receipts from our first building in Kisumu in 1994. And the person who taught me to keep these receipts and to keep these ledgers is my wife. So because one time I came out, I had 50,000 shillings, which I gave him. At that time, I used to go to Kisumu, and we started the construction. And I would go, and in the evening, after I had days work at the construction site, me and a few friends, we would go down and have a drink. And she realized that, a good percentage of the money that I was going with to Kisumu was going to end towards entertaining my friends and myself. So she told me, can I go to Kisumu? And I said, yes. And I gave her the money. And she came back with a ledger, the date, the materials she used, and how much she spent. Even the bottle of soda that she drank at the construction site, she put it down as part of the construction cost. So from that moment, we have till today, we have been putting all these receipts and having a daily ledger of the expenditure that we have used during the construction. So it's very easy. If today the Kenya Revenue Authority or the Anti-Corruption Authority wants to do a forensic audit on how much we have spent in constructing our various residences and where the funds come from, there's a very clear journey on how much we had in the bank, when it was withdrawn, and how much was spent during the day. So you can do a very easy forensic audit of what we have spent. So I was just looking at these receipts today, and by the 9th of December, 2006, we had spent 1,410,944. And by the end of December 2006, that is exactly 12 months down the line, we had spent 2,655,094 shillings. All these have been documented here. Now, by that time, I have started working for the CDC. I am a Foreign Service National. I'm getting paid twice a month. So I went ahead and took a bank loan of 2.5 million shillings. Did I use this bank loan to finish off my house? No. I used this bank loan to buy a Harrier. That time, Harriers were just coming into the market. 2 million shillings. That was the first and the last time that I've ever taken a bank loan. Don't do it. I paid it off within a year and a half, but it wasn't worth it. No, it wasn't. So, this car, I bought it 2007. So 2007 March, we have a small Nissan Sunny B14. And just like that, we started moving into this new residence. We didn't have running water. We didn't have electricity. So I went to Ken Solar and bought a single panel or solar panel. I bought 2 batteries, which was able to light up our house, because the quote that we got from Kenya Power and Lighting Company at the time was about 2 million shillings to supply us with electricity. That was out of question. It was slightly under 2 million shillings. So we had an outhouse. For you people who don't know, an outhouse is the long drop toilet outside. And we would carry water from Nairobi to this place. Our last born son was in grade 1, class 1, at that time known as class 1, in Nairobi. So we would leave the house while he was asleep in the car, and he would come back in the evening while he's asleep. The whole of that year, we only had the main door and the back door. We didn't have doors for the bathrooms, for the bedrooms, nothing. We just had the glass in the windows downstairs, so we were sleeping upstairs. We had a few cats and some dogs, and these cats were eaten by some animals, most likely either hyenas or leopards. At that time, there were also so many snakes and other animals around this neighborhood. We were the 10th family to settle in this neighborhood. To lay the context, right now, there are over 600 families here. So at that time, we bought this property. It was 250,000. Remember that my brother and I, we contributed 50-50 to buy this property, and with the intention that we were going to divide the property into 2. We actually divided it into 3 to also include our last born brother. But he came here and he said, he cannot settle in such a place because it's too bush, it's too dusty, and he cannot settle here. There are no roads or anything. And after we came here around mid 2007, we also got another property opposite where we are now staying. It was going for 350,000. Again, my brother and I came up together. We also bought that one, 50-50. Then we sat down as a sibling and said, it doesn't make any sense to divide this first one and divide the other one. So we agreed that I retain this property where I had already built, and he will take the other one. That's how we agreed, and that's how it was. So you've seen from the records, end of 2006, December, we had spent about 2.6 million shillings. But if you look at the property now, the current evaluation, it is worth more than 20 million shillings. And, I'm just going to take you around outside so you see the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Because we didn't have money to do the construction all at the same time, we have been constructing it slowly. In fact, we just did the last bit last year, 2004. So we've been constructing this place for the last 20 years. However, it means that for 20 years, we don't owe anybody any rent. We don't owe anybody any mortgage. Whatever we have is ours 100%. Now, we started constructing also a two-car garage, and the fundis, that is the masons we engaged, advised me not to put a roof on the garage. He said, put a flat roof, a concrete, and build a house on top of it. So I did. And I built a 2-bedroom house, which is now occupied by my son's family. Near the gate, on the septic tank, these young men told me, don't waste any space. Just like that original fundi told me, Masivo, that, don't waste any space. So we dug the septic tank, and on top of the septic tank, we put up a double-story building, a store and 2 stores actually, 2 storerooms, and on top of that, a 1-bedroom apartment. These have become a source of income for us today, and also provide space for when we have lots of visitors, because over the years we've been entertaining a large number of visitors when our children are graduating, when we have birthday parties and weddings and what have you. So we have a large compound. It doesn't look like a 1/4 acre, it looks more like a 1/2 acre. And then slowly we started building we started putting up another building. So this, where we are sitting right now, is 5 bedrooms with a 2-room SQ, and then there is a 2-car garage, which is not enough with the number of cars that we have now. Did I just say that? So, and then we have a man cave, which I'm also going to show you, and the visitors wing near the gate, and we still have a lot of space, and a gym. So now it has taken us time, but from this compound that we bought for 250,000, which we did not have because we only had 120,000, but the whole compound now taken together, the property now is valued at more than 30 million shillings. And why am I giving you these figures? Why, you might ask again, because we shouldn't be talking about this. We should, because if today I get appointed to a public position by the government, I will be asked these questions. All this will be splashed in as headlines in the newspapers. So there is nothing to hide. And I'm putting this out here to encourage you, young man, you, young woman, you, man, you, woman out there, that you can do it. Years ago, a young man in the United States called Barack Hussein Obama said, yes, we can. But I changed that to not yes, we can. I changed it to yes, we do. And I'm showing you that even with the little resources that you have, you do what we say in my community, in my the Luo, I'm a Luo, of chak achaka nyathena. Just start, my child. Even if you have 3,000 shillings, just start. That man who took me to his compound, he had this 3-room corrugated iron sheet building. Now he has 2 mansionettes there. Beautiful mansionettes. I envied him. And it was not a bad envy. It was not bad jealousy. Did he do me bad? Yes, he did. But he taught me a valuable lesson. From visiting him that Sunday, we have a place we call our own. If we felt that, this man has just taken us to his place, just to show us off, and we come back with a bad feeling, we would not have positively taken that challenge up and be what we are today. I'm going to encourage you to do that. Now, out of these 2 buildings that we have done over the last 20 years, there are 2 buildings of 5 bedroom each. And we have the 2 guest wings, one of 1 bedroom and one for 2 bedroom, and man cave or my personal lounge and a gym. We also have others that we are not going to see today that our children have constructed over the time. So total of 4 large residences in Nairobi. And when I say Nairobi here, I mean figuratively, because we are in the greater Nairobi metropolitan area. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to tell you exactly where those residences are. If you want that, please come visit me and I will show you, and we can talk more about that. However, so for the longest period of time, when our children are going to school, I used to tell them, be very careful with what you do with your first paycheck. And so the first one went to medical school. He completed, he did his internship and got a job. But during his internship, as you know, in this country, either you're not paid or your allowances get delayed. His internship allowance got delayed by a year. So one day he came home and he said, Dad, after we had had our dinner, said, Dad, I got paid and I'm going to transfer that money to your account tomorrow as my father. And I said, no, give it to your father. And the whole house went deathly quiet. So our children looking at me like, what's this old man talking about? He's not my dad. And I said, I'm not your father. I'm just your caretaker. This is not your mother. She's just your caretaker. And they're looking at with puzzled eyes, and you would do the same. And I said, your father is God. And peace came back to the house because we told them that from God you came, we all came, and to God we will all go back. I'm going to sound preachy here, but this is what I used to tell my children, and this is what I'm telling you out there. So he asked me, so do I give all of this money to church? I said, no. God does not want all of this money. He wants 10%. He said, okay, and we have 2 churches, one in Nairobi and one in the village. Which one do I give? And I said, give it to the one in the village and don't give them money because then you'll just be spoiling the church. So he calculated the 10%, and I said, I can do that on your behalf. So he transferred that money to my account, the 10%, and I went back to where I was working at the time in Kericho and ordered for 3 pews, the benches where the people sit in the church, and his mother also added him money for the 4th pew, and I added some more money for a preacher's seat. And when they were ready, I took those to our village church and presented it to the priest. So I told the young man that, okay, I've done that bit with the money that you gave me. Now, that other money that you wanted to give me, now you can give me. Believe me, he transferred the rest of the money to my account. And he went back to work, broke as a church mouse, as they say. When he came back after a few weeks, I told him, the money that you gave me, I did something with it. He said, I don't want to know. I said, no, just come. I want to show you. So I showed him a heap of building stones, machine cut stones, 15 lorries of stones that I had bought. I said, I've bought these stones for you. He said, Dad, what for? I said, yeah, you're going to start building. He said, where? And I told him, get into the car. So him, his mother, and I, we got into the car and we drove 20 kilometers to a property that I owned. I say, this is my property. I say, yes. Again, fortunately, we've been very fortunate because every time we buy property, we end up with corner plots. And corner plots, because they're irregular, they end up being very big. And I say, dig a foundation here. So he did that. That was towards the end of 2014, early 2015. And he started a construction. The house is complete. It's 5-bedroom. His brother did the same thing. His other brother did the same thing. The last one, just a couple of weeks ago, he started his pupillage, and he gave me 10% of that money. And I used that money to buy a bishop's chair, and I took it to our village church. So I am a firm believer. I don't believe in giving those spiritual pastors and spiritual mothers my money. And I tell my children, and fortunately my children have heeded my call, because those people are just parasites. I'd rather do something physical in the church so that it remains there, because you give these people your money and you'll be trapped into giving them money for the next X number of years, you will still be miserable. But when you buy property for the church, you will go and you see the seats which are there, the chairs which are there, the painting that you have done for the church, something physical that you have done to your God, not to these human parasites. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or whatever, these people are found in all those denominations. So I encourage you out there, go and do something. That 10% for us Christians, we know, and even Jews, that it belongs to God. Give it to God. Because we read in Malachi chapter 4, where God says that, you're cheating me. You are stealing from me. Give me so that there is something in my house, and I will fill your cup. I will bless you beyond your understanding. It will be given back to you 10 times, shaken and overflowing. So that is what we have done over the last 20 or so years. You can turn the negativity into a positive. When somebody throws you a negative curveball, convert it into a positive thing. Don't give up. I started with 120,000. We came into this house. We had nothing. We didn't have electricity. We didn't have running water. Now we have water. We have a solar system. Eventually we had a KPLC. But 4 years ago, we removed the KPLC and we put a solar system in this house. All this brightness that you're seeing is solar powered, meaning that as long as God's sun is out there, we have electricity. And it is enough to power the house, to power multiple fridges and freezers, washing machines, cooking, and everything. So that is my podcast for today. Please remember to go to my YouTube page. Don't forget to subscribe, forget to like and share. And meanwhile, I'm going to take you on a tour, not of this house, but of the external area. I'm going to show you the gym. I'm going to show you my lounge where I spend my time, and just show you from the outside what we have done with this property. Thank you and peace. See you again soon. Okay, so I'm right at the gate here, and I'll spend the next few minutes showing you the compound. So where on my left side, on the ground floor, this is the septic tank. Right here, all of this space is the septic tank. And then we have a storeroom which we now use as a kennel. And this is the drop toilet. And we have another room here which we use as a store, which for some time we had as an agrovet, but we closed that shop because we didn't have anybody who would take care of that shop. So we've got puppies there. If you want puppies for sale, they're from this breed of dogs here. These are fully grown. You can talk to us. Those puppies are going for, I think, maybe 25,000 shillings. I'm not sure. It's my son who raises them. I'm approaching the main house. This is the main house, which has taken us about 20 years to complete. And these bricks are from Kenya Clay Works on Thika Road. They are made by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta's company. They're really nice facade here. I'm going to get a piece of it and show it to you. I think there's a piece here. So this is that brick. And at the time that we were laying that, this was costing 15 shillings. So to do the whole house is like about 2 million shillings, but it's worth it. And then we have our personal gym. You can come inside and see. So this has taken us years also to build it to this level. So we've got these body crunchers. This one we bought in a second-hand market at Pangani. So I think for about 5,000 shillings. These are the ones like this one, Wonderco, we bought from Amazon.com. The Roa from Amazon.com. Believe it or not, we bought this from second-hand market in Pangani. So yes, indeed, you can go there and buy these from second-hand market. So we've got steppers, we've got weights, body fixer there, we've got bicycles and a treadmill. So every day in the morning, I would come here and do a 2-hour exercise on the treadmill here or on the bike or any of these, with the ultimate aim of losing approximately 800 calories per day. So even my big belly is disappearing. By beginning of December last year, I was weighing 95 kilograms, but right now I am weighing 84 kilos. So I've lost almost 9 kilos over the last 2.5 to 3 months, with the ultimate aim to weigh 70 kilos by September. So when you see me lose weight in later podcasts, it's not because pesa imeisha or I'm sick. No, it's because of the very strict diet regimen and exercise that we engage on a day-to-day basis. So this gym is not open to the public except only the family members. But if you're our visitor here or you're our tenant, then you're welcome to use this gym. So again, as I say, always start small with one small piece of equipment. We started with a treadmill that we bought at Tusky supermarket when it was still open for, I think, for about 50,000-60,000 shillings. We took that to the village. So, and we've been building our equipment portfolio slowly over time. You can also visit scrap yards, second-hand shops, like I said, like this body cruncher from Ngara second-hand supermarket, and we bought this. Yeah, this is our entertainment area when we have visitors, and we're used to entertaining large groups of people, like when we have graduation parties for our children, or birthdays or weddings, is where we entertain our visitors, and it takes about 100 people comfortably without any problem. So again, I'm going to show you. We can come up here. I am a strong advocate of the boy child, and I always tell the boy child that you boy child must have your own money. You'll be respected that way when you have your own money. So this is on top of the garage that I was talking about. And this here is the 2-bedroom apartment on top of the garage where my children's family are living. This is my man cave, personal space. It's the place where I come to just relax and spend time, whether I'm reading or, just want to spend time to myself. I have a fridge where I put some drinks or food. Cooker, I can prepare my own meals right here. I've got my music system. I am a collector of music, all sorts of music. And this equipment, yes, they're working. And my love of art. This is our second-born son. That was his first year at university. He was a model. This is the eldest son with his wife during their wedding in the UK, and that's my wife and I. This was holiday somewhere in Africa, and this is the most photographed building in the world. It's in Mlolongo, near Nairobi. And yeah, so that's it. And yeah, last bit is when we stand outside here. I'll show you one more building, so this is the place where my brother was supposed to build, but now we put up a second building there, and we've got tenants who are living there, and more space behind that. So now imagine all of this from 110,000 shillings. And we started the construction with 5,000 shillings in our pocket. 5,000 shillings. And we've spent more than 20 years doing this. So today you're 25, you're 30. I was in my late 30s when we started doing this. Now in 25 years later, you can calculate my age, we've done this. And by the grace of God, if we live for another 20 years, we would enjoy this property for about 40 years. Rent-free. So you can live in Nairobi. You're no longer a tenant in Nairobi, you are a resident in Nairobi. And debt-free. I don't owe anybody anything. There's no bank that will come and say they're doing foreclosure on this property. Nobody. Probably the only thing that my children will have to pay is death taxes upon our death when they're taking over this property. Hopefully they'll not be fighting over this property. Yeah, so that's it for today.